What would you do if your rent dropped from $1,400 to just $50 overnight? I never thought I'd be the kind of person who could live on $100 a month. But then life flipped upside down. It was 7 a.m. in a tiny apartment in Tbilisi, Georgia. I had just woken up, and my breakfast was a piece of leftover flatbread and a cup of free hostel coffee. My rent? Just $50 a month. My total monthly spending? Only $100. Sounds crazy, right? A few years ago, I was living in a big US city, paying over $1,400 in rent. I thought cutting back meant giving up fun or freedom. But after losing my job during the pandemic, I decided to try something different. Really different. This isn't another story about skipping lattes or using budgeting apps. It's about a fresh way of thinking, living smarter by spending less and gaining more. This wasn't just some extreme frugality stunt. I didn't just survive on $100 a month. I actually grew, learned new skills, and found peace. If you're tired of the same money advice, this story might change the way you see money forever. Before I started living on $100 a month, I had a normal life in Chicago. I worked a 9-to-5 job, rented a small apartment, and spent most of my paycheck just trying to keep up. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was caught in lifestyle inflation. Rent alone was $1 for 100, and I barely had anything left after food, bills, and a few small treats. I thought that was just how life worked. Then came the pandemic. In 2020, I lost my job. Like many others, I felt stuck, scared, and unsure of what to do next. I couldn't afford the life I was living. So I asked myself a hard question. What if I stopped trying to keep up and instead started over completely? That's when I discovered something powerful. People around the world were living well on very little. In countries like Georgia, Vietnam, and Portugal, people were living simply, happily, and spending far less. I realized I didn't need to make more money right away. I needed to change how I lived. In Manila, I met remote workers living on $5 a day. I realized frugal living wasn't a punishment. It was a global secret. This extreme frugality journey wasn't about deprivation. It was about freedom. I didn't just live on $100 a month. I escaped lifestyle inflation, learned digital skills, and I stopped chasing more and found stillness in the quiet. 1. Change your environment, not just your habits. Most people try to save money by cutting small things, like coffee or Netflix. But I learned something bigger. It's easier to change your spending when you change your surroundings. When I lived in Chicago, even cheap things felt expensive. Rent, food, transport, it all added up fast. So instead of just changing my habits, I changed my location. I moved to Tbilisi, Georgia, a small country with friendly people, fast internet, and super low prices. I found housing through local Facebook groups and expat Telegram channels, not Airbnb. I met other travelers who were trading their skills like graphic design or English lessons for free rent or food. I even helped a local hostel with social media in exchange for free breakfasts. The idea is simple. Don't fight high prices. Go where prices are already low. Changing your environment gives you more control. You don't need to fight temptation every day when rent is already cheap and food is fresh and affordable. Living abroad isn't just for the rich. Many countries welcome digital nomads or slow travelers. With a little research, you can find places where your money stretches a lot further and where your life can be simpler, richer, and more peaceful. 2. The trick that finally stopped me from overspending. One big reason people overspend is simple. They see their money too often. Every time you open your banking app and see money sitting there, it tempts you to use it. I found a trick that worked better than any budgeting app. Make your money invisible. Here's what I did. I opened 2 bank accounts. One was for bills like rent and food. The other was for daily spending. I moved only a small amount into my spending account each week, about $20. The rest stayed hidden. I also used a prepaid debit card, so I couldn't spend more than I had. But the biggest change? I kept a spending journal. Every time I bought something, I wrote it down, but I added one word to describe how I felt. Example: groceries, $4, grateful. This helped me slow down and connect emotion with spending. The result? I stopped buying things just because I could. I became more thoughtful, more careful, and honestly more peaceful. That journal made me rethink every purchase. I didn't just save money, I stopped thinking about it constantly. That's when real peace began. 3. How I ate for free and still thrived. Saving money isn't just about saying no to buying things. It's about building a life where you don't need to spend much in the first place. It felt like a real-life, no-spend challenge, but with community, creativity, and free resources instead of constant sacrifice. I joined local exchange groups where people trade time and skills. I helped someone write a resume, and in return, they cooked me meals for a week. I found free meals at community kitchens and pay-what-you-can cafes. In some places, bakeries give away leftovers at the end of the day. I used public parks as my gym. I joined a free outdoor fitness group and even started learning martial arts from a local who taught for fun. The key? Stop thinking like a shopper. Start thinking like a creator and a connector. Instead of asking, "What can I buy?" ask, "What can I build, share, or trade?" Once you find the right people and places, life becomes less about money and more about value. A no-spend lifestyle doesn't mean doing less. It means doing more with what you already have, and often with the help of others who want the same. 4. Unfollow consumer culture. One of the biggest reasons we overspend isn't need, it's influence. Ads are everywhere. Social media shows us what we should buy to look successful or happy. I didn't realize how much it affected me until I took a big step. I unfollowed consumer culture. So, I unfollowed influencers and pages that constantly promoted clothes, gadgets, or luxury lifestyles. I followed creators who talked about simple living, DIY projects, and financial freedom. I took a 30-day no algorithm challenge. That means no scrolling. I only searched for content I truly needed, like how to cook cheap meals or learn new skills. The change was huge. Without ads in my face every day, I stopped wanting so many things. I started focusing on what I already had and how to use it better. I didn't feel left out. In fact, I felt free. You don't need to buy things to feel good about yourself. When you step away from the noise, you start to hear your own voice again. By removing digital pressure, I made better choices with my money and felt happier with less. That's a kind of wealth money can't buy. 5. Stack value, not just savings. Saving money is great, but just saving isn't enough. You also need to build value, skills, knowledge, and connections that can help you earn more in the future. I call this stacking value. When I was living on $100 a month, I had a lot of free time, but not much money. So, I used that time to learn new things that didn't cost me anything. I signed up for free online courses on websites like Coursera and Google's career certificates. I learned design, basic coding, and marketing. I practiced every day, even for just 30 minutes. I created small projects using free tools like Canva and Figma. I posted them online to show what I could do. I reached out to small businesses and offered help for free. After a few projects, people started paying me for freelance work, $100 here, $250 there. It added up. While I was spending very little, I was also growing a new income stream. That's the power of stacking value. Most people just focus on cutting costs. But if you use that low-cost lifestyle to build skills, you won't just save money, you'll make more too. Think of it like planting seeds. The time you spend learning today can grow into something much bigger tomorrow. It's not about doing nothing while saving. It's about using your time wisely, so your future self has more freedom and more options. Emotional challenges and mental wins. Living on $90 a month wasn't always easy. The first week was the hardest. I missed eating out, scrolling online stores, and feeling normal. Sometimes I felt embarrassed or alone, especially when friends back home talked about new stuff they were buying. But over time, something changed. I started feeling proud of every smart choice I made. I learned to enjoy simple things. I began to feel more confident, not because I had money, but because I was in control. I realized that I didn't need more to feel better. I just needed less noise, less pressure, and more focus on what truly matters. This journey made me stronger. It taught me discipline, patience, and creativity. Today, I'm still living simply, a kind of stealth wealth lifestyle. I spend about $400 a month in Lisbon, Portugal, but you'd never guess I've saved thousands. I work online as a freelancer, using the skills I learned during my low-budget days. I've saved over $3,000 in just a few months and built a lifestyle that feels free and full of purpose. You don't need to live on $100 a month like I did, but you can start small. The biggest lesson? Freedom isn't about earning more. It's about spending with intention. Want to learn how real people are building quiet wealth and achieving financial success? Then watch this video next. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.